Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to be styling the registration form, getting to look like this. All right, so let's start by linking our CSS. So we'll say CSS and registration .css, and we'll go into our CSS folder, right-click and create a new file, and we'll call this registration.css. Okay, so now we can start styling. So we'll start with the body element. So we can give our document a background color of hashtag CCC gray, and we'll give a padding of 50 pixels. So this is 50 pixels all round the document. So let's reset. The background color has been applied for us, so we can see we have padding going left, right, top, and then the base as well. All right, so the next tag is the H1 tag. So we want to text align center for the H1, and we also want to set the margin for the top of the H1 to be 0 pixels, and we want to set the margin for the bottom of it to be 40 pixels. Okay, so let's reset and check it out, and that's the registration. It's got to the center for us. All right, so the next we want to style is our actual article. Okay, so we want to give it a width and so on, and background color too. So let's give the article a width of 600 pixels, and we'll give it a background color of white, so hashtag FFF, and then we'll say padding of 40 pixels around it, and then we'll give it a margin auto so it's centered on the screen. So let's reset, and we can see we have it centered on the screen with the padding going around it. And okay, so that's looking good. So we have the labels, so we could target and style our labels. So let's say label, curly brackets, and we can set the minimum width, so of our labels to be 100 pixels. So we want all of them to sort of line up properly. And we will say we'll display the labels inline block like this, and we'll set the font size for our labels to be 15 pixels like that. All right, so the minimum width is quite important because we want everything to line up. So we say minimum like that. So let's reset so we can see all the labels work, and the repeat password verification is okay too. All right, so the next thing we want to look at is styling our field sets. Okay, so we can say field set, and within the field set we'll say border none, and then we could set the border for the top of the field set to give it 1 pixels, and we want to be black, hashtag 000 and solid. Okay, so now let's reset, and that's looking much better. And now we have this to deal with, the personal details, the legend elements. So we could target our legend element, and we can basically just make it font weight bold. That's all it really needs. Okay, so we could reset, and we can see it's all bolded up for us. And now we have the label to look at. So we have the labels look fine here, but we want to indent the label in. So within our field sets, we could find the P tags, and we want to say padding left on the P tags, and we say 30 pixels. So when we reset, we could see that everything's been pushed in. Okay, the labels have been pushed in 30 pixels, matching this document here. Okay, so the next section to style, have a look here. We have our submit button, which flows to the right, and ours is on the left by default. So we can target the input for submit. So we say target any input type of submit, which is just one, curly brackets, and we just say float it to the right. Okay, so if we reset, it's floated to the right, but every time we float things, we have to clear the float because margins and paddings has been affected a little bit. So we can see we have our input is within the footer element, so we need to target the footer element and we need to clear the float from there. So that will be after the footer. We are basically going to say set the content to nothing, and then display block, and then finally we say clear, just say clear both. Okay, so something is wrong. Line 44 is highlighted in white. That's because I haven't terminated properly. So remove the commas and terminate like this. Okay, so let's save this and we'll go back into our browser and reset, and we can see that the padding on the bottom has been restored as it should be. And we're pretty much getting there. So we have our input fields, which we need to increase width and height. So we need to target specific input types. I want to target input type for texts, and I can copy this and say comma and target input type of email, target input type of telephone, and I think finally of password. That is a nice nifty way of targeting everything in one go. Okay, so just correct that. Okay, curly brackets, and then we want to set the width of all these input types to 250 pixels, and we want to set the height to 220 pixels. Okay, so this is targeting all these types that we have here: texts, telephones, and emails. So we're going to style those, give them a width and height. So let's reset, and we can see that we've achieved that, and we've set the width and height of only those given inputs, and we haven't tampered with these inputs here. So this is the conclusion for this project registration. In our next lesson, we'll start working with styling a table. So I'll see you in the next lesson.